Football Manager 2026 is almost here, but the big question is, should you pre-order it? And this isn't just the same old trap of watch the video and then Ben talks about his code. If you want that, you can go to the main video on the main channel. The question actually is, should you pre-order it? And have we seen enough so far to justify that pre-order? Because a pre-order basically says, I trust that this is going to be good. And if there's one thing the Football Manager broke with a lot of people last year, it was trust. Now they're back and they're asking for that trust again. And part of that was not giving us that link straight away, was not saying on the first detail of, oh yeah, there's going to be a game and here you are, pre-order it, was seeing nothing. They've shown us some match engine stuff. Well, they've shown us some match graphic stuff. And they've shown us the UI, kind of. So I made a video, right, about the UI and how it looks and how it feels and the differences compared to last year's game and whether it's going to be good. And of course, you can watch that video over on Dr. Benjy FM. But here, let's talk about some realities, I guess. Let's be honest, if you've played FM for years, you see getting this as like skipping the queue, right? You want to just be there for when it releases at the midnight hour or the whatever time when the beta is finally a thing, or the early access or the beta, whatever you bloody call it. And lots of you watching this will just do that as sort of like, well, this is what I always do. So of course I'm going to do that again. I'm sure lots of you watching this right now are thinking, I've already done it, Ben. This already happened. And listen, you save a little bit of money. You get to play it early. You can do what you want to do. You can do your own research. But at that point, you have bought the game. It's not like you can then refund it post-beta, unless you play for 2 hours on Steam, but who's doing that? FM's not the sort of game you can dip in for 2 hours and go, do you know what? Nah. But it goes back to that thing I mentioned before, right? It's a matter, for me, it's a matter of trust. And do I trust it's going to be a good game? And right now, if you want me to be totally honest, I probably wouldn't pre-order it. I don't think we've seen enough outside of a really nice-looking match engine, which looks like a big improvement. And again, people are saying like they shouldn't have wasted their time and their money on improving that side of the game. When was the last time the game had a graphical improvement? When was the last time the match engine was worked on? Last year. The time before that? Last year. The time before that? Last year. Not only have they been the same for a long time, they've been bad for a long time. So it was time. And the new UI, well, it looks all right. And it looks like FM24. Maybe not like FM24. It looks like Football Manager. And I think they probably with FM25, and they've sort of admitted this, that with FM25, they tried to make it look like something that wasn't Football Manager. And that's why they basically went, we should stop this. And look, I could talk for a long time about the way in which Football Manager handled the media side of that, the communication side of that with creators, and more so just the general public. I mean, going radio silent for so long is, and I get it, but leaves a bit of a not uncomfortable feeling, I guess. But the video they've shown us of the UI yesterday is not the game. It's like when you see a cinematic trailer for like a film. It's not the whole film. I mean, it's more of the film. But you've seen games where they say like this is not gameplay. What we've seen so far, like of the UI, is not gameplay, and really is about 4 screens of how many screens? And for a game that has admitted to having so many UI issues, like it worries me a little bit that they've not then showcased those UIs working. Even in the video about the UI, they didn't go, oh, this is how you navigate to, like they've shown it in a way that's not real. And so that makes me nervous. And last year, because of what they'd said and the way in which they spoke about it, I was less nervous. And now, having had an extra year, weirdly, I'm the one that feels pessimistic. And it doesn't mean I'm not excited at the same time. And the thing that creators are getting criticized with is that we're all shills and mouthpieces for Sports Interactive, when some of the things we say are positive, some of the things we say are negative. Most of the things we say are just facts, as in we just talk about things that they've announced that is in the public domain, and then we publicize and make it more known, because it's more helpful than getting the same questions all the time on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Like, people being aware, it's helpful for us to spread that message. And as creators, we're pretty good at doing that. It's always what we've been good at. I've been doing that for 10 years. That's not something I've suddenly done upon my return and having had some breaks. And listen, there's a lot of pressure. I think I've said this last year. There's a lot of pressure on how I feel about it because of the breaks that I've had and the fact that I felt like we'd reached the end point, and I creatively had reached the end point with what I had before. And what's coming, again, gives me a lot of hope that I can do a lot of fun things with this. But there is this sort of apprehension that has glossed over me for the last month of like, well, what if it's not great? What then? It can be funny for a bit, but like there's a lot of pressure on this release. This is the first time some of you will have heard me talk about my actual feelings towards it. And again, I did a list sort of like mocking the idea that we can never talk negatively about the game. There is this myth, and it is a myth, that creators can never speak negatively. The reality is we just have channels in which we can speak to Football Manager directly, and any criticisms we might have, we all just put in there. And so it's not the sort of thing where we're like, oh, let's create a hate mob of like things we dislike about the game that we can then go, oh look, everyone hates it. It's like, it's not what we're really here for. It also doesn't mean that we are the sole voice of like feedback for Football Manager. Of course we're not. There are loads of different segments, different platforms that are giving feedback all the time, and people that are playing and using those platforms. And we're just a subsection of that, admittedly, like a bigger subsection than we were 5-10 years ago. And so like it holds a little bit more weight now than it used to, which I'm sure for some people will frustrate you, and for some people will go, oh, okay, as long as you're saying the right things, then I think it's fine. And I think people get caught up in this idea that creators are saying things that they want and things that they want. Well, they're players of the game and consumers of the game. It's not all based upon like, well, what will get me the most views? Like people are saying, of course, Football Manager creators want the graphics to be better. They'd get more views. Actually, we'll probably get the same views because people interested in the game will still be watching it or not. But it's no denial that like the graphics of the game have been an off-putting feature for new players to the game and people watching content. I've got lots of friends that are massive football fans, but just like look at FM and go, well, no. And then a lot of that is just the graphics. I don't know. I don't think it's like, again, I don't think them upgrading the graphics is a major issue. I think it was time. And I think the fact that it's come after a 2-year delay, like if last year was the graphics and then this year was very much the tactics and the match engine, I get that. Like I've tweeted about the fact the match engine is largely based off last year's match engine, or the FM24's match engine. So that means that 80% of that match engine is what is then in, or like 90% is then in, and those tweaks of 10-20% that are new and different and changing how we play the game, then that's probably enough. Like, and 20% would be a lot as well. People forget that. And it is, like, listen, it is the best football manager or football game engine in the marketplace. And a lot of people go, yeah, well, there's not another one. All the other ones are rubbish. That's just really hard to do. Like, there's a reason it is what it is. There's a reason Football Manager are where they are. It's not just their scouting network. Like, what they've built is actually incredible for like what it is. And if it was easy, and if it was like easy to make a better one, someone would have come along and done that, and everyone would go, wow, this is a better match engine, even if it doesn't have all the stuff that Football Manager also has, which again is the level of detail for each player and so on and so forth. Like, it is really good. I'm not shilling for Football Manager when I say that. Like, that is just the case in my mind. And that doesn't mean it's perfect, but like, I want an imperfect engine. People might be like, well, what do you mean you want imperfect? Well, if it was a perfect, then it would be predictable. And I don't want a predictable match engine. If anything, I want Football Manager to be less predictable than it is right now. I play it sometimes and I know what's going to happen. I see patterns of play and I know what's going to happen. And maybe that's what you're asking for. Maybe more variety in the play. As someone that's got hundreds of hours, yeah, I'm for that as well. I also think that football doesn't necessarily allow loads of different variety. And there's a difference between watching a game every single week or 3 or 4 matches at a weekend and then watching and playing 15 games in 3 hours or whatever it is, or 50 games in a few hours, and then suddenly you're seeing the same patterns. It's like, oh, you're watching a lot of football. Like, that's going to happen. And that's not me making excuses for Football Manager. I just think that's the reality of our habits when we're playing video games like this. I'm excited for a new game, and I'm excited to play a new game, but it doesn't mean I don't have apprehensions. It doesn't mean that I think that everything is perfect and that they're a flawless company. Like, I think they've made a lot of fucking mistakes, to be honest. I think their communication to the wider audience is quite poor. I still think they need a community manager, and I think it's crazy that Sports Interactive don't have one. I think it would have massively helped with the issues that they've gone through in the last 2 years. And having a comms team and then having like a marketing department and then people that work on the game is fine. But like, in terms of their interaction with the community, they've got FMFC, which is like, whatever. I don't know. Like, what is it? I don't know. As a creator, and I'm in it, and I've been sent a shirt before, I don't really know what it is. Like, why don't Football Manager have their own Discord server? Why don't they do weekly challenges? Why don't they have all of these things that continues to engage the audience beyond content creators? Like, it feels like it's there. When you load the game, when you first load the game, you can do so much with that home screen that would then bring people together of like sharing Football Manager experiences, which I think a lot of people love to do. A lot of people watch them, and a lot of people play them, and they, like, if they've got friends that play Football Manager, they're thinking you do it down the pub or like in the car journey or like on the way to somewhere, wherever, just chatting probably like in a Discord server. You're talking about your save and what you've done in it, and maybe showing it and sharing it, and like the ability to share gaming experience now is like much bigger than it was. And Football Manager has always been this like single insular, I'm going to play my own save and no one else is going to get in the way of that. And that's just not necessarily how games work now, whether you're getting clips on Call of Duty or CSGO, or but whether you're playing like team games, again, clubs on EFC, anything like that. It's a lot more about like a community feel, and Football Manager's like whole vibe on that is just way off. And so like there's that side of things that I could do a whole video about that on its own, and maybe if you've got questions about that, that would lead to a better video. I'm in a weird spot. Like, I want to be really positive, and I think sometimes I probably come across more positive than I am to some people, and then probably more negative to some people. I guess I'm sort of fence sitting quite a lot here in this video, but I'm not sure yet. And I guess until we all play it, I'm not going to be convinced either way. I do think when it comes out, there's going to be a lot of issues. They're going to have thousands, like tens of thousands of people play the game and find probably like thousands of issues. I just hope that they've got enough resource in that 2-week period before the game officially launches. Like if it comes out and it's got issues, and then by November the 4th, it's still got those issues, then we're going to have problems. But if that 2-week period, which is like a beta period or an early access period, they're probably better off calling it a beta period or an alpha period, whatever, then I think we can be okay with that. And listen, they're going to get a lot of feedback, and it's going to be a lot of feedback just on how it plays, how it feels, how it runs, like all these things. That's the bit that 2-week period I'm especially nervous for, because like that as much as they gave me the feeling of excitement for FM25, they've also given me this feeling of like, actually I'm more anxious now. So I think it's good to be anxious because it means I care still, and like I'm not gonna say that I was gonna say I didn't care, or I went for a period of not caring. Actually, I probably cared too much, and that led to me being like disenfranchised with it a little bit. But now I'm so back and ready that I just want to play, and I guess their advertising's working because I feel teased. Let me know your thoughts about all the things I talked about, I guess, in this video. Again, I plan to do more of these bonus Benjy videos, but then so they didn't announce anything for a while. And yeah, content-wise, it was like, oh, what do I make a video about? The Premier League? What do you want to hear? Again, there was comments on the last video. I'll go through those again and maybe come up with some ideas because, yeah, I want to do these more regularly because they're fun. It's nice just to be able to talk and not feel like you're being judged almost. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. When you upload a main channel video, it's the same process, just feels different. I don't know why. Anyway, this needs to be more throw it against the wall and see what you all think. So, yeah, thanks for watching.